Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about this week's NXT television on the road to Battlegrounds.
Battleground.
Also on this episode, we've got some news, the latest on the second coming. No, not of Jesus Christ, of Phil Brooks to AEW. And we're also going to talk about some WWE talent, namely Omos, who's happy about Vince McMahon being back because he's on television. No. We're going to speculate. We are going to speculate, but apparently some WWE talent are happy that Vince is back. Good for them. We're going to talk about that stuff today. But first, we'd like to give a hearty thanks and appreciation, our sincerest appreciation to all the friendos who turned out last night on Twitch. We had double or triple our usual amount for a Thursday night stream.
Close to 600 people, I think, at various points,
to join us celebrating the Enforcer. We did a whole, we were just watching clips of him laughing, basically, is what it was, because we can't get enough of that. And so, all the well wishes, all the condolences. Also, we have to point out, as many people here in our chat, in our pre-show, had pointed out as well, that a lot of people, personalities, contemporaries here in the internet wrestling space have, on their various shows, have also shown love to the Enforcer, and sincerest thanks, spreading the word there. So
absolutely. Yeah, it's been heartening seeing the outpouring of love for the Enforcer in our community across the wrestling world. He brought a lot of joy to a lot of people's lives, and a lot of people loved him lots. So
he did, absolutely. And if you want to see that, we have the stream basically in its entirety. I went ahead. I just chopped out the bit where we're like, oh, thank you for the sub, reading off everybody's subs and stuff. That's important stuff. Don't get me wrong, but we basically started off with a really hilarious Unsolved Mysteries bit with me and the Enforcer. And I was like, people are just going to want to get to it. So we just went ahead and did that. They don't want to see us. They want to see the Enforcer. And so that's on there. I actually, a little inside baseball, last night before I went to bed, I just threw it on there, uploaded because it was going to take a little while. Didn't edit anything except for that chunk out of it.
Yeah. And
sure enough, Unsolved Mysteries gave it a copyright claim, but wouldn't even let us, it's not just that we couldn't monetize it. Nobody could see it. It was completely blocked everywhere. I was like, all right, that's cool. So I'll just distill that into as much copyright okay clips as possible. I got the essence of it all. It's still really good. The actual full Unsolved Mysteries clip, unedited, which has a lot more good stuff in it, is available on right now as a streamable link, which I'll make available to the public because they don't have access to that. I'll make it available to the public somehow, some way, because it really is, I don't know, it's just a hilarious clip.
It is. It really is. Surprise meat.
Yeah. Surprise meat. The Enforcer Celebration live stream is available over at the Friendo Club TV channel, Friendo Club Wrestling channel, rather. You can check it out right now if you want to check it out right now. Or you could hang out with us and we could talk about, CM Punk and Jesus. I don't know. Why don't we talk about WWE first?
Before that. So on a recent edition of the PW Torch audio show, Wade Keller mentioned there are some WWE talents who are, quote, at least happy Vince was back contributing to creative. I don't know why I sound like dude from Under the Banner of Heaven there. Anyways, Keller added, quote, Heavenly Father. Well, this is the second coming. This isn't the CM Punk story. Let's save it for that. So Keller added, these transcripts come to you from WrestlingNews.co, quote, the wrestlers who are more sympathetic or okay with or even somewhat happy with Vince returning. The wrestlers I talked to directly like Vince better, but they also indicated they are not alone and that there are people who are happy Vince is back. It's natural that some wrestlers would think that they were getting a better push under Vince McMahon than Paul Levesque because every booker is going to have their favorites that they like a little more than others. And those people get a boost and others will be like, hey, I think I was in a better position. Under Vince. Some of it is just that. It's purely based on self-interest, that they were getting a better push. One person I asked said they think that Vince McMahon is more focused on building strong baby faces. Paul Levesque has more of a focus and interest in building heels. I mean, Vince might have more of an interest in building strong baby faces, but he has great difficulty in actually accomplishing that.
Yeah, no, that's whether or not he can accomplish his goals is one thing. But man, I want to do this. Let's speculate. Who's happy about Vince? Number one, I mentioned this in the intro. Omos, and he's not being built as a strong baby face, but he has had a prominent WrestleMania match against Brock Lesnar, a prominent match against Seth Rollins at Backlash. I don't know where he fits into the plans necessarily, but if his lot as free agent brand guy is that he can be used in special attraction matches on whatever brand, you got to feel pretty good right now if you're a Omos with Vince McMahon where he is, because I think Vince was probably an Omos guy.
Maybe. I mean, if the assumption is Vince is the one advocating for Omos to get in these high profile matches, then sure, But
I
for
think
all we
there's
know,
probably some evidence to suggest that too.
There could be, yes, absolutely. But for all we know, Triple H is high on Omos too. We don't know. I guess you'd have to look and see who was in prime situations early part of last year.
Yeah,
that aren't in prime situations now.
Or vice versa. You mean people? Yeah.
So people that were in high profile spots early in 2022 before Vince initially
came
resigned.
back.
No, resigned.
Yeah.
So those who were like when Vince was running things.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Who were in good spots then versus and who might not be in as good a spots now. I mean, those would be the people I'd think, okay, they probably.
Well, I was thinking people who weren't getting a push under Triple H, so people who weren't in a great spot from SummerSlam until WrestleMania, and then WrestleMania now, which is number one on my mind was just Omos, because I'm like, everybody was like, why is he getting this match? But he really wasn't seen that often prior to that, and so that name stands out.
Yeah, I think we're taking two approaches to kind of saying the same thing. Though.
Yeah, sure. I'm looking at the card. One guy who I think would be the card for Backlash here. One guy who I think would be happy wherever he is. Cody Rhodes. I think Vince and Triple H both like him. Let's see here. The Bloodline, obviously, everybody loves them. Riddle. That's a difficult one, I know, because he was gone for a while because of stuff, and he's also been eating a lot of pins lately. So maybe not.
He has, and. I mean, it seemed pretty evident that Vince really liked the pairing of Riddle and Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Because they were involved all the time. They won the tag title several times. I mean, they were the focus of Raw for weeks at a time. So yeah, Riddle maybe.
What baby faces are they talking about?
That Vince was building?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Lashley, maybe? But then he wasn't at WrestleMania, and wasn't that the thing? Like he was going to be at WrestleMania, and then Vince stepped up, and he wasn't at WrestleMania. I thought that was sort of the thing. I don't know. This is all speculation, but that's sort of what we do here. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, especially not knowing the inner workings of how stuff is put together. It's tough to speculate. It could. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm trying to think of who right now, like if anybody in chat. Like Austin Theory?
But he's US champ. He just beat John Cena at WrestleMania. That's not a bad deal.
No, that's a good deal because Vince is there now. And so
but
he's
even before
still
that, Theory was regularly in the mix.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's always been in the mix.
It wasn't like he was off TV for weeks and then Vince comes back and he's on TV all the time.
Maggie brings up the women's division. If you look at the women's tag division, it is beefing up. It really is. And Triple H, I'll be honest with you, didn't do a terrific job with the women's division during his time as a solo guy. No. Without Vince there. Man, I don't know. I think WWE's been all right lately. I think that ever since, WrestleMania, which I know it's been 6 weeks, but after that one episode where Vince was right there hands-on. Since then, I'll be honest with you, product's been all right. I've been enjoying the product. And I had said at the time, hey, if it's a thing where Vince is sort of back here in his castle somewhere, wherever he is, Stanford, wherever the new headquarters, I don't know if
I think it still is in Stanford, yes.
Okay. And he's just sort of, get the script. Yeah, this is great. Triple H is there running day to day, so people don't have to deal with Vince on a whim, just doing this, that, the other thing. and they're pretty happy with that arrangement, it works. It works. Look, I don't give a shit who's in charge. If the product works and people seem happy backstage, that's all I care about. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, no, Vince is there, so obviously the product is bad. If the product is good and I'm watching it, I don't care who's in charge. It's good. And I've been enjoying WWE lately, so, I mean, you can't tell me Backlash was a bad show because it wasn't. Yeah. It was awesome. Yeah. So, I don't know. If this arrangement works, it works.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, if Vince is just kind of overseeing thing on a very general, broad level, and the day-to-day minutia is what Triple H and his creative team is dealing with, and if that works for everybody, and the morale backstage is high, and people are invested in what they're doing, yeah, sure.
It's just stay away from TV, because clearly that doesn't work. That Raw to WrestleMania was epically bad.
It was horrendous.
Yeah,
absolutely horrendous.
Stay away from TV. Just read the scripts. If you have any changes with the appropriate amount of time,
just go ahead and make the red pen out and make your notes and pass it on to Paul and be done with it.
Exactly.
Oh, gosh. All right, so let's get to this, Steve. So in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer has some more details about the debut of AEW Collision.
Love it.
Including what the debut first episode is going to be titled. This is what Dave had to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's hear it.
With that show, that's the debut of Collision, will come a new deal with Warner Brothers Discovery. The announcement of the 6/17 debut date believed to be at the United Center in Chicago, and the return of CM Punk on a show called...
Come on, no, don't do it.
The Second Coming.
Oh, what?
So we get this last bit out, we could talk about this, because there's some more details, more news about Punk and the Elite and stuff. Meltzer also added, quote, someone very familiar with negotiations of the Collision deal has said that the show would have happened with or without Punk, but absolutely Warner Brothers Discovery wanted Punk.
Yeah, that makes sense. He brings like 150. He brings like 150,000 more people to the table. That's cool. That's good. That gets them to they get them
about
near
1/6 of their overall audience. Yes.
Yeah, it gets them near 1 million.
At least to begin with. Yes.
Assuming his body holds out. Big assumption. But
assuming they could build it, they could transition a good chunk of their audience to that Saturday evening prime time slot.
Somebody in the comments of our last video, yesterday's video, said, "Watch CM Punk try to get Joe up for a GTS." See if his body holds up. I hope it does. I honestly hope it does, because more money. Yeah. Stream went down. Oh, hey, wait a second. Oh, it might be back. It might be back now, Larson.
I think we're back.
I think it's back. All right.
I think we're back.
Sorry, everybody.
Apologies.
Look. Apologies. That's what happened. We start talking about the Holy Trinity and Jesus and all that kind of stuff, and then they strike it down.
Apparently.
We've been smoten, Larson.
We've been smitten. Smoked.
Yeah, we've been smited. Smited? Smoked?
I don't know. Smoked? Yeah, smote is one tense. Smitten? No, I don't know.
Anyways, I'm not going to let an act of God keep me from making fun of this. Yeah. So anyways, what were we talking about?
I don't know. You froze, and I missed a lot of what you were saying. So, I don't know. Second Coming, gay or nay, Steve?
I mean, dude, I don't know. It's not the best name for it.
It's a bit on the nose, isn't it?
I mean, it's a bit on the nose if you liken CM Punk's return to wrestling as being that like Jesus' return. Yeah,
well,
sure.
I mean, I guess if CM Punk is going to be viewed as AEW's savior, if you will.
Yeah. I kind of feel like that's like overstating things, but maybe they don't.
Very much overstating things. Yes, I mean, is there a gulf between Plus Delta and savior of your company?
Yeah.
Or are they one and the same? At least
there should be. I kind of feel like they should be. I mean, look. Yeah, it's not the most clever name in the world. Now, I saw some speculation like, wait, is it possible he's going to come back as a bad guy with a God complex?
If that's the case, then why is he pushing for a feud with Samoa Joe, who's already a heel?
Oh, because everybody loves Joe. And Joe can turn. Here's the thing, Joe can turn like that. Joe can turn like that.
I understand.
He can be a good guy.
But
if they do a thing where Joe comes back and he's like, He's like, no. You're kind of if Punk shows up, and look, I don't think he's going to come back as a bad guy. I do not think that's going to happen. I'm just throwing this out there because anybody who comes back, like using the language of the biblical return of Jesus Christ, you got to start speculating as to like how that could work and not be like the biggest eye roll.
Yeah. No.
So if he comes back as a guy with a Messiah complex saying this company, remember what I said at All Out? That was nothing compared to what I got to say about this place now. And I'm going to save it. And people will be like, oh, no, you're kind of boo. You know, we don't like you. That if that's the idea. And then Joe comes out and says, we don't need you to save us or something like that. Look, this fantasy book is terrible. I'm just trying to come up with some way, shape, or form that.
No, I hear you. I hear you because you're right. Otherwise, it is kind of eye-rolling to think that if this is to be taken at face value with CM Punk returning as a babyface, then it is a bit much.
Yeah.
You know, I saw some speculation whether it's going to be him returning to kind of like the straight edge society type thing he did WWE years ago.
Yeah, right.
If this is CM Punk returning as a heel and being real full of himself, and as you said, you know, if he first promo back, you know, he basks in the cheers, boos, some mix thereof. And as you said, hey, you thought I went off at All Out at the scrum? You ain't heard nothing yet.
Yeah.
But then but if they take that tact, then you'd almost have to think, well, then they'd have to do, then it has to be the Elite. That has to be a feud. If he's really leaning into the heel aspect of it. I'm just saying that because it's a segue to this next bit. So I'll go from here. So regarding the questions everybody asked about the internal stuff, and this is back to the Observer, by the way. Regarding the questions everyone asked about the internal stuff and people making up and working together, nothing has changed. There are a number of different legal issues still ongoing and in play, and nobody is allowed to publicly talk or contact the other side or talk about any of the issues. From someone near the top, they are no closer to any resolutions than they have been, but things are more reasonable. At least one person is willing to apologize, Kenny, and has wanted to for a while, but is not allowed to make any contact. That was my editorializing when I said Kenny, by the way, not the Observer. At least one person is willing to apologize and has wanted to for a while, but is not allowed to make any contact. This isn't Punk, as we don't know one way or another what he's willing to do. Another person on that side also said that they believe that apologies are in order, but more than one, that Punk should be the first, but not the only one. Is there like a restraining order or something? A protective order in place?
That's got to be something, right? Like, that's weird.
Yeah.
There are legal issues still at play.
Yeah.
Somebody did somebody do like some sort of injunction against talking about this stuff?
This seems to go beyond just like a general gag order type deal, you know, within the company. This seems to be
right.
Something, you know, far more legal than just a memo from Tony Khan.
Is there, dude, look, neither of us are lawyers, but again, speculation. Given that the Elite for sure they're not like co-owners of the company, but they are executive vice presidents of the company, which is different than just being talent.
Yeah.
And I always go back to CM Punk saying, I'm trying to run a business here. It would not shock me if his deal had some sort of stake in the company in terms of a profit. I don't know.
Yeah.
But is it possible that something in their contract has something about like non-disparagement clause about other people and other employees of the company?
I would get that. That would be, I would think, in terms of people making public comment. This is literally like,
you can't talk to this
Kenny
person
can't pick
legally.
up the phone and text Phil, hey, can we talk?
Yeah.
You know, like that seems to be far more than any sort of NDA or non-disparagement thing.
Yeah.
That seems like an injunction or something. I don't know. It's something more than Tony Khan saying, hey, guys, don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what it would be. It's you know, in terms of who wants to apologize, who knows? Maybe it's Kenny, maybe it's Hangman. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know, those are the two names that popped in my head.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. The whole thing is weird. The whole thing is highly dramatic. When it kind of just feels like it doesn't need to. And look, I know I'm sitting here. I wasn't backstage. I don't know how like rough it was or whatever. I know Matt Jackson said on BTE that, or All Access or whatever he said it on, that it was like the worst 2 months of his life, sitting home doing nothing.
Well, I mean, you want some reckless speculation. Maybe it's just not sitting home for 2 months doing nothing, getting served with legal paperwork.
That's too. Yeah. Nobody likes to spend money on legal paperwork.
And then if you're getting served with legal paperwork, I understand why you might have a little bit of resentment against the person that served you.
Yeah,
in a situation like this. Not to say that stuff can't be overcome. You know, I think it could be. Yeah. But if it was scrum, the brawl, and then from there things just got out of control.
Yeah.
There's probably maybe a lot of anger, a lot of resentment that has to be overcome there.
It is, regardless of what it is, it is wild that these people are going to be in the same company.
I know.
It is wild that they're going to be in the same company. So yeah, I don't know. The Second Coming thing is absolutely hilarious.
You know, let's go back to this Chris Jericho thing he's doing with Adam Cole.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I when he had the thing on Dynamite this past week, talking about how he got he got counsel and got the injunction about Adam Cole not being in the building so long as he is there, and I was like, okay, that's taking the Punk Elite thing and just taking a couple steps further.
Mm-hmm.
What if it's not? What if it's all directly referencing stuff that has happened?
Oh man, dude, I don't know. Like that's pretty wild, you know.
It is pretty wild, I know.
Yeah, if there was any possibility that's the case, that's wild. I mean, the fact that they would allow that to happen, I don't know, man. That shit's wild. What do you make? By the way, we didn't really talk about what do you make of the idea that they're going with Samoa Joe instead of Chris Jericho. I know that like the reporting on that was Punk's idea. It's what Punk wants to do.
That's what he was advocating for, yeah.
If you're Tony Khan, you've got several major shows coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you? Isn't the first thing you go to Jericho? Because he's like your biggest name besides, I mean, he's up there. He's like top 3 biggest name.
Yeah. I mean, from a mainstream sense, he's probably the top name in the company. Him and Punk, yeah. In terms of
don't you insist on that
value?
Can you insist anymore on anything?
I guess this will be the test if Tony Khan was insisting on Jericho and Phil's like, nah, I want Joe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, I mean, from a viewer standpoint, and we talked about this when the Joe news first came out. I think it was yesterday.
Yeah.
For me as a viewer,
mm-hmm.
I think having Joe feud with Punk will help me take myself out of this having Punk feud with Joe and the direction I would assume they would take with it. By that I mean they won't be so referential to the brawl out stuff, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
I would find that more palpable than some kind of, you know, elbowing and wink towards the camera with Jericho. I mean, we just see with the Adam Cole thing.
Mm-hmm,
that is just constantly referencing seemingly brawl out with legal counsel, so on and so forth. I don't think they'd take that tact with Joe. I'll say there won't be references, but I don't think that'd be all there would be to it. And I think as a viewer, hold on one second. As a viewer, I would be like more into that as opposed to, hey, let's have this feud between Jericho and Punk, but it was constantly going to reference all this stuff.
Going back to you proposing the idea that Punk is just that Jericho, is just like, fuck it, I'm just referencing all this stuff. To what end? Setting up that, like, setting up a thing with him and Punk, like setting the precedent for him.
How many times has AEW done things just to reference things?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
just to kind of reference, hey, here's something that's going on behind the scenes because they think people just eat that stuff up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Brain Dead by default says maybe they don't want to pull Jericho out of the 9-month Adam Cole feud.
That could be it too. That could be it as well.
Man. I don't know. It's going to be, again, man, hey, it's good for people like us who make our money because, this kind of shit happens. We saw how much we got out of mileage we got. And if they're all grown-ass adults running a business that, by the way, is probably about to get a bill.
Yep.
So whatever works for y'all. Speaking of paying some bills, why don't we go ahead and do that now, man?
All right, let's do it. Let's take a quick break here. Get a word from our sponsor, HelloFresh. Steve,
yes.
You know what time of year it is? It's spring. The flowers aren't the only thing blooming this time of year, springtime, because flavor is in full bloom at HelloFresh.
That's right. HelloFresh makes mealtime easy with recipe options that will make everyone at your table happy. From veggie to pescatarian to fit and wholesome, HelloFresh has meal options that suit your lifestyle.
Steve, can I shoot here? Can I be honest?
Shoot from the hip, man, of course.
All right, here we go. I'm more or less complete amateur in the kitchen. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. It's really not uncommon for me to add too much or too little of one ingredient or forget to put something in altogether. But HelloFresh,
you mess up cereal.
I do. I put water in sometimes. How can you do that?
What the heck?
But HelloFresh comes with foolproof recipes that arrive with pre-portioned ingredients that are quick and easy to prepare in just a few steps. So it's easy for someone like me, an amateur, to cook like a pro and get a delicious meal on the table for my hungry family fast. We're all a huge fan. That beef bulgogi stir-fry recipe is always a huge hit here in the Larson house. Plus, I have to spend a bunch of time making endless trips to the grocery store getting ingredients since everything is delivered right out there, right to my front door.
And HelloFresh does more than just dinner. Along with 40 weekly recipe options, you can also choose from more than 100 items to add to your order, including snacks, easy lunches, and desserts. And it all shows up at your door in one box on a delivery date that you select.
Right now, Friendos can try America's #1 meal kit by going to HelloFresh.com/GIR16 and use code GIR16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping. Again, that's HelloFresh.com/GIR16. Use code GIR16 for 16 free meals plus free shipping.
Oh, man. Time to talk about NXT. We're on the road to a new women's champion.
Yes.
And we had some movement on that.
We did.
We're on the road to Mello versus Braun Breaker 2.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the road to that at, what's it called? Battlegrounds?
Battleground. Is it Battleground singular or plural?
I thought I heard you use it plural, and so I did that. But I thought it was just Battleground.
I think it is just Battleground. If I said Battlegrounds, then I was in it. And if I'm incorrect, apologies.
Maybe you were starting the next word that started with an S
I'm not
sound.
really articulate, so
I'm not a strong swimmer.
So it wouldn't be a surprise if I tried to say Battleground. The next word was like Steve.
Yeah, Battleground Steve.
Battleground Steve.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah. We had one budding feud continue with Ilya Dragunov and Dijak, which, if that match was any indication of what we can get from like their next, hopefully 2 matches, that should be some really good stuff because I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was fun. That bit where Ilya was buried under the ring steps was something else. Else. A lot of this episode was centered around Trick Williams. We saw a bit of that last week. They're really starting to establish Trick as his own superstar.
For sure,
And there was a barbershop segment early in the episode where Trick pretty much says to Mello, I got to take care of this myself.
In
his match on Tuesday against Braun. And I think that's great. For a long time, we've been fans of Trick Williams here. Tons of charisma, great promo, but hasn't had necessarily the opportunity to showcase what he can do in the ring. The matches he's had on NXT, I know apparently he's been wrestling a lot on Level Up. The matches he's had on NXT generally aren't that long. And so, even his match against Braun in the main event wasn't, like a 20-minute bout. I think they gave it about 10 minutes, but the fact that he was in the main event segment, had a good showing for himself, a strong showing. Is awesome to see. You can see that the Trick has a ton of potential, a ton of upside.
Oh yeah.
And I'm eager to see you know, how he can meld his really strong character work with strong in ring work.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good step. It'll be interesting to see how much more development he has in NXT, if they're going to give him a whole nother year, until next year's draft. But I think that would do him a world of good. I really do, because I think the world of Trick Williams. I think he's really good.
Yeah, he is.
Let's just go ahead and get started, because there was a lot going on in the episode,
as there always is on NXT.
Yeah, that's true. So it kicked off. I like this. They had like all the women that are in the women's championship tournament, sort of standing there on the aisle, like lined
the
up,
side of the ramp. Yeah,
that's a good way to put it. But they were all doing sort of like their Mortal Kombat character poses on the menu screen. They were like. Like Fallon was doing her like country girl head bob shit.
Yeah.
And the first one of those, the first match that we had was Tiffany Stratton versus Gigi Dolan. I was kind of surprised, I guess, sort of indirectly. I guess JC Jane did have a hand in this match, because Tiffany was really just targeting Gigi's injured shoulder because of JC Jane.
Yeah.
And she was able to use that to her advantage and hit one of those awesome moonsaults. That moonsault always has me on the edge of my seat, man, because like she just springs up and just one little bounce, and I'm like, whoa, be careful.
I know. It's that jump up from the second rope to the top rope.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's that. Yeah. It's very impressive, though. It looks
really
great.
Is. It is. Before the bout, they each had promos. Tiffany says, I should have been handed the title, but now I got to go through 3 grueling matches. It says I'm surviving Gigi tonight. And then 2 more, then on my way to becoming NXT Women's Champ. And then Gigi said, what JC did last week was disgusting, talking to my brother the way that she did. You may have won the match, but I got my pound of flesh. And tonight I'm using Stratton as my personal punching bag on my way to becoming Women's Champ. And you mentioned Gigi had her shoulder all taped up. And so Gigi's looking for a finish. Tiffany counters with an arm wringer on the injured arm, hits the rolling senton, and the prettiest moonsault ever to get the win.
Correct. After that, we had a Schism promo where Gacy says, last week, I sacrificed myself for your opportunity at Glory. He's talking to the Dyad. And I have no doubt that you'll bring gold back to us. 4 roots, one tree. Yeah, 1 tree. And the Dyad leave, and Gacy tells Ava, I've taken your words to heart. I'll not be joining you ringside. My attention will be directed elsewhere, but guide them as I would. I'm going to go get a long chicken sandwich from Burger King, and I'm going to go by KFC and get some of their French fries and put it in the long chicken sandwich.
Sound strategy, Joe Gacy.
After that, we had Trick and Mello there at the barbershop, and Trick's pretty serious here.
Yeah.
He's like, I get to beat the brakes off Braun tonight, change his name to Josh asks, how's Mello doing? He says, I'm all right. Medical says I got to be at 100% before they can clear me, but it's all good. Trick, I appreciate you standing up on my behalf last week, letting Braun know that you aren't the 1 or the 2, but you don't have to do this tonight. Chick says, but I do. Braun is a bad boy. I get it. I respect that. But I'm on a whole other level right now. I'm training harder than ever. I mean, don't I look good? Haven't I been working? Ain't I going to whoop his ass tonight? You hear the people? And Mello says, you know what? Pass on my cut. Take care of my boy. We got to get out of here soon. And Trick says, I need to take care of Braun Breaker tonight. I'm doing this for you, but I'm doing this for me. I'm about to prove that I'm everything I ever said I am. Your biggest test is defending your title at Battlegrounds. My biggest test is tonight. Mello says, you already know. We're going to be watching. Trick gets out of his chair and says, that's all it is. They shake hands. And Mello says, that's all it's ever going to be.
Yep.
What a beautiful friendship this is.
I know. It's so good. Then we get Dyad taking on Gallus. So Tony D and Stax are in the ringside area watching the match. And then we also see the Creeds and Ivy Nile watching. In fact, Ivy's watching on a monitor backstage. And the Creeds have blue masks on. And they come up to Ivy, scare her. She's like, stop goofing around.
Yeah, they're clowning. They said two masks, one team. It was really silly.
It was silly. So Gallus is looking for their finish. Gibson trips up Mark Coffey. Drake rolls up Wolfgang, gets a 2 there, and then Mark slams Gibson's head to the announce table. Eventually, Gallus hits their finisher on a distracted Zach Gibson because Ivy runs ringside to tackle Ava. And then the Creeds are down there too to pull her off, and for whatever reason, Zach Gibson is like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on?" And so, bang, whatever Gallus' finish is called, he eats it. Gallus retains.
Mm-hmm.
So earlier in the day, we're backstage. Thea's wondering when Chase is going to come back because he's still gone.
Yeah.
She says, but thankfully Duke stepped in, so we're not going to fall behind. The class is on the draft. Imagine getting drafted. Well, then big body Javi steps in and asks Thea, if your class teaches you how to get drafted into a women's title tournament. Guess not.
Oh,
probably would have failed that one too.
Yeah, but then Duke steps in. He's like, sorry I'm late. I was grading papers. And Javi says, you're really deep into this thing. You're grading papers? I see what you're doing, though. When you unveil your final plan, Chase isn't going to know what hit him. And Duke's like, what are you doing? You don't even go here. He says, secondly, I think you misunderstood somewhere along the way because I'm simply filling in for Mr. Chase until he gets back. He says, look, everybody thinks they can get away with whatever when the substitute teacher's here, but this is not going to go that way. How dare you disrespect the good name of Chase University? And Javi says, I see what you did there. A little Freudian slip. And Duke says, I'm going to go get a match with us tonight. And JC's going to get JC.
Javi. Sorry.
Javi. I was like, JC Jane's not in this. Javi's going to get a Chase U-sized ass whooping. That's what he gave him to.
Yep. After that, we had a video of whoever's been attacking people in the parking lot. And it's someone with a hoodie on, watching monitors, a bunch of videos, but it had an interesting filter where it kind of looked like almost like a hologram because it was desaturated, black and white, but it had that kind of iridescent, like an iridescent filter on it. It was interesting.
Oh, dude, I know who it is. Do you know who it is?
Who is it?
Somebody who was there but is not there anymore. Somebody who knows her way around like computers and shit and streaming video.
Oh, yeah. Stevie Turner, yeah.
Stevie Turner.
Yeah.
Because that streaming shit ain't working.
No.
And when I saw this, I was like, because she was in the draft room with everybody, and I was like, oh, it's been a while since I've seen her. And then I saw this, I was like, oh, it's gonna be Stevie Turner. She's gonna be evil streamer. She's gonna be streaming people's. It's gonna be like coffin flops. She's gonna be streaming people's misfortunes.
Oh my goodness! But he was really well done. I for no reason, I saw that kind of holographic iridescent filter on. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Some people are saying B. Priestley. That might be more likely.
Yeah, that could be. It could be B. Priestley. It took me back to the days when I opened my deck of Upper Deck baseball cards and get the little holographic sticker in there.
It looked really cool. No, a lot of the production, even like in advance of the opening match with Tiffany Stratton and Gigi Dolan, like Gigi Dolan's promo was like just really well lit and filmed. I'm like, oh, that looks nice. And it was just a standard promo. But I'm like, oh, that looks really nice. It stands out because we did the film school thing a long time ago.
Exactly. Production value goes a long way. Then we got Javier Bernal versus Duke Hudson. Duke gets the win here. Javier dominated a portion of the match until Duke hulked out. He throws up the U, starts his comeback, and then hits a bunch of stuff in succession. He hits a senton, German suplex, and a razor's edge to get the win.
Oh, man. Maggie just gifted 5 memberships in the YouTube chat.
Much, Maggie.
She says it's on behalf of Leisha Harding, who isn't here today, seemingly. Because Leisha's always in here gifting subs. Thank you, Maggie. That's so nice.
Thank you so
I'm sure
much,
Leisha would appreciate that,
you.
too. So then, hey.
Hey.
So we got Mr. Stone and Von Wagner walking backstage. Vaughn says he's feeling good today because the weather's nice, and that could be a powerful thing. Stone responds...
It's the small things that make Von Wagner's day.
I love this shit. I absolutely love this shit. It's such a fucking 180 from what he was doing before. Stone's like, I never really thought about it before, but okay, Vaughn, I want rapid fire answers. Give me your favorites.
Here, I'll be Stone. You can be Vaughn.
Somebody's like freaking ice cream, like their favorite ice cream is going to tell you anything about them. Really, come on.
I know. All right.
Anyways, go.
So burger,
bacon burger,
fries.
Chili cheese.
Ice cream.
Cookies and cookies and cream.
Pistachio for Stone. And then Stone goes, what do you see when you look at this picture, Vaughn?
Baby with the messed up head. No, that's me, Stone. Why'd you do that? Why did Stone take the picture out of the picture album?
I don't know.
That's so rude. Why is he trying to jump scare Von Wagner with a picture of his own baby? I mean, of him as a baby.
He goes this whole thing like, hey, I want to get to know you. What's your favorite burger, fries, ice cream? And he's like tries to do a gotcha moment there.
Right. Like, dude, I thought the whole point was build trust. You are violating trust horrifically.
I know.
And then this dude comes up next to him and clowns him, makes like a head reference. And then Vaughn grabs him, rams him in a road case, and then lets him go. And then Vaughn says to Stone, pistachio. Man, I have no idea. I legitimately have zero idea where this is going.
I have no idea.
But I love it, and I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Hey, are you in my photo album? That's a picture of me with a giant scar on my head.
Now, next week, if they do something similar where Stone is like, hey, what's your favorite movie? TV show?
Yeah.
Band. What's in this picture, Vaughn?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like, it just keeps doing that week after week. At what point is Vaughn going to, like, figure it all out?
How about this? No, how about this? So Von Wagner isn't exactly lucky in love. And so Stone sets him up on a date.
Oh, my gosh.
And she's like, this isn't going to go where I typically go. And they're at a nice dinner. And she's like, you know, man, you seem like such a sweet guy. And I really like you. And it's obvious that Vaughn's into her. He's like, oh, man, this is going to be great. I might touch a boob. And that's his inner monologue. We hear it. Yeah. And then and he's like, I think I can really trust this one. I like her. And then she's like, can you just tell me this, Vaughn? And he's like, yeah, I'll tell you anything. Why you got a big old scar on your head as a baby? And then he's like, oh, and then Stone, he's like a waiter with like a mustache.
Exactly. He's got the mustache, takes the mustache off. Yeah. You got to open up to me, Vaughn.
Right, open up to me. Why did you have a giant scar on your dome when you were a little baby, Vaughn? So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know where this is going. It's amazing, though. It's really great.
It is great. They're doing something with Vaughn.
They're doing something fairly compelling with Vaughn, or really just bizarre. I don't know. Both, a little bit of both.
It is a little bit of both. It is a little bit of both. Next, Dynamite. They're in the kitchenette area. They have the PC.
Yeah, right.
The break room, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
They meet up with Gallus there, and so Joe tells the Creeds to keep Ivy out of their business, and Julia says, "Watch your mouth." And then Brutus says, "Also, you better watch those championships before we take them from you." And Gallus is like, "All right, whatever. We're going to the pub."
We're going to that pub. Let's go, boys. Gallus boys on top. Gallus boys on top. I love that fucking Joe Coffey's back, and he's like just their cheerleader.
Oh, I know.
He's like leading them in Gallus chants. That's great.
It is great.
After that, we had Eddie Thorpe versus Damon Kemp. Of course, as Damon Kemp was running his mouth to Eddie Thorpe, saying he needs to sleep with trash.
Throw my trash away.
He's like, throw my trash away. And I figured you'd do that because you used to sleep in trash.
Oh, my gosh.
Eddie Thorpe gave him a proper ass whooping here. He beat him with a running boot, German suplex on an elbow drop here to get the win.
Yeah. Then we got a Kiana James interview. She says, yeah, I get it. I have the most difficult first-round opponent in this tournament. She's facing Lyra Valkyria. Whoever put this bracket together did me no favors, but luckily I thrive under pressure. My last 12 months speak volumes, especially the last 5 to 6. I have everything laid out I want to do here, and one by one I've checked them all off my list, except the NXT Women's Championship. Like you said, my first year here was incredible. Can you imagine how much bigger year 2 would be as NXT Women's Champion? I can.
Watch me. After that, we had a Braun Breaker interview. Mackenzie asks about his change in attitude. It's like, no, there's no change in attitude. I've just stopped caring. I'm a bad guy. I mean, for over a year, I carried the NXT title on this shoulder, the NXT flag on this shoulder, and the weight of this brand on my back. Yeah, where to get me? Nothing. Where to get me? Nothing. The WWE Universe made their choice, and it's Mello, and that's fine because Mello's probably still picking the splinters out of his ass from when I speared him through the wall a couple weeks ago. My freaks. So if you or anyone else, for that matter, doesn't like my attitude, door's right there. I didn't ask for this interview. You did. You know, come here. And he waves to the camera guy to get closer. And he says, Mello, tonight I'm going to put you and your freaks, your buddy, your best friend in the same hospital I put you. See you at Battlegrounds.
See, in this setting with this version of Braun's character, I like when he just kind of sit there and very matter of fact. It didn't really work as a baby face.
Yeah.
But as a heel, I feel like it works way better.
Well, the thing that I like about Braun Breaker is that there's no ambiguity to it because on the back of his trunk of a singlet it says "meaner than evil."
Yeah.
So, it's like, oh man, what's
very
meaner
clear? You
than
have
evil?
had a change in attitude, Braun.
Yeah, because now you're meaner. Now you're meaner, not just meaner. You're meaner than evil. Like, I don't know, but I don't know if he means the wrestler from House of Torture or the general concept of evil.
If it's the wrestler, then that's not a terribly high bar because the whole House of Torture group is fairly hapless.
They're hapless. They seem like they enjoy each other's company.
They do.
Evil's kind of the wrestler is kind of a walking contradiction.
Yes.
He always had the cool costumes like that. He looked like he got from Party City.
It was cool for like Party City. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But if my kid went trick-or-treating at Evil's house, she would be into it. She wouldn't be freaked out. And he would be like, oh, would you like some candy, young child? Look at my cool lasers.
His presentation always looked good so long as you didn't pay too close attention to it.
Right, exactly. Like, he didn't really come off like evil. He came off like, goth kid evil,
Right. Yeah. The laser pointers and the fingers were kind of neat.
Cosplay evil. He'd be at a Comic-Con. That's really what it was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Eating a hot dog, he opens his mask.
Yeah, exactly.
Then he burps in the mask.
The tray of nachos right here and just kind of keep it close. So if one falls, it goes right into the pan and not onto his gear.
One of my favorite convention stories back when I was doing comic books was seeing Thomas Jane.
Yeah.
Somehow before the convention started that day, where none of the concessions were open yet, but yet he had a full plate of nachos. The original Punisher, mind you. Well, the original was Dolph Lundgren, but the best Punisher. Second to John Bernthal. Thomas Jane. He had the nachos, and he was at the booth of like one of the more popular artists who did the Punisher comic book covers for like the longest time. So he was that dude was all in on Punisher stuff.
Yeah. Well, I guess when you're a moderately successful actor, there's certain advantages you get, and one of them is early access to the concession stand.
Nachos whenever you want them.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Instant nachos
on demand. Like I am
on
Thomas
demand
Jane.
Nachos. Yeah.
Provide me with nachos, please.
Who? I played the Punisher.
Oh, who?
On Netflix?
I was Todd Parker in Boogie Nights.
Oh, you get your nachos.
He's like, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be dancing? So I don't work Sunday nights.
Shouldn't you be making some carpet dope?
After that, we had Ilya Dragunov versus Dijak. Give me 20 minutes of what they did here.
Oh my gosh, that was awesome.
They were beating the hell out of each other, just chopping each other,
the shit out of each
turning
other.
Their
was
chest
amazing.
into hamburger. It was great.
Yeah, it was great.
It was fantastic. And the Dijak at a certain point, it's like, the hell with this. He goes to the timekeeper area, chucks the timekeeper out of the chair, takes his chair, gets in the ring. So the ref grabs the chair. Is like, you can't bring a chair in here. Using the chair, Dijak swings and then sends the ref flying. He doesn't hit him with the chair. The ref still has his hands on the chair. He just pulls it back and swings it.
The ref was like the ref was like a piece of shit on a shoe, and you just sort of like, kick your shoe, and then it comes flinging off.
Exactly.
And then he takes the chair and he just wails away on Ilya. The ref calls for a DQ, but Dijak's not done. He's even more pissed that he got a DQ, even though he fully was aware that was the rules of the match. Throws Ilya to the outside, grabs some steel stairs, and like pins him underneath them, and then steps on top of him, which was a great visual. But he had plenty of clearance, Ilya, down there.
Well,
but he was really selling the crap out of it.
Ilya, they like had both his arms like around
it was like
his head and neck with the stairs on him, so it made it look like he was being suffocated by him.
Yeah, he did a good job with that.
And he's all under the stairs, so it's believable that he's being crushed and or suffocated under the stairs. So,
and Dijak was like, "Yeah, how's that feel? You feel alive now? How you doing down there? You look like an engorged penis. What are you doing?"
And we got a meat mountain. I'm hungry.
Who's got a Meat Mountain? I'm not talking about wait, what wrestler is Meat Mountain now? Oh, Boogs. I'm not talking about Boogs.
Yeah. So next, Wesley walks into the locker room, but Tyler Bate's there meditating, and there's a bunch of smoke. It looks like Tyler Bate is hotboxing in the locker room.
Probably just getting high as fuck, yeah. Because he was zoned out this entire time.
Completely. So Lee says, I haven't seen this much smoke since I was hanging out with Riddle. Hey, Tyler, I know you're getting your head right for your match with Charlie Dempsey tonight, but I want to thank you for last week. You were a majestic leopard, taking out Charlie, and it was beautiful. You had my back, so tonight I got yours. Gulak and Dempsey are determined to sap all the enjoyment out of NXT. You ain't going to let that happen, right? Right? Well, I should let you know that you're next, Tyler. So he's like, so come on. So Tyler wakes up, comes to, gets out of his trance, whatever. And he says, sorry, mate. I was miles away from here. You say something? Because when I'm meditating, I go into a deep trance-like state, like I'm on a higher plane of existence. You know what I mean?
And they're like, yeah, Wesley's like, yeah, come on, let's just go, man. Yeah, no, I like them as dudes who just like get high together. That'd be kind of cool. I mean, Wesley's done that with the other guys in the, what was it, the Rascals or Radicals?
Rascals. Radicals were Saturn and
that's right. Yeah.
Like AEW, yeah.
That's right. I was like, wait, which one was which? After that, there was like some more Performance Center stuff of Danny Palmer asking Briggs, Jensen, Frank, and Hank for pointers. And then Briggs and Jensen's like, hey, go get some reps. And then Frank and Hank are like, oh, we want reps against Brooks and Jensen. So they challenge them to a match. But, man, that was a violent-ass match that they had.
It really was. I really wish Frank Ledgerman to be like, Briggs, Jensen, let me be Frank.
Yeah, let me be
We need
Frank.
reps, too.
Yeah. We need reps. We want it
take
against
some reps on your books for the month. Let's get some reps in the ring.
Just don't kick my tooth out of my mouth because right now I'm in between dental plans, okay? So that's what they did. But before that match, we had Charlie Dempsey versus Tyler Bate. And a lot of shit going on here. Yeah, that's right. This was Joe Gacy's sort of side project here.
Yeah.
This apparently is why he couldn't get involved. Yeah. He did something for himself. And that thing was he hit Tyler Bate as Tyler Bate was going to do the ropes thing that he does the thing. And then he rebounds into the lariat
type deal. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was enough to let Dempsey hit a dragon suplex on Tyler Bate to get the win here. So it seems like we're going to get a Tyler Bate feud maybe with the Schisms maybe.
Could be. It makes sense since he was Tyler Bate was involved in the Chase Youth stuff. Maybe Gacy's using that as a means to try to get into the North American title scene as well because Wes Lee was ringside with Tyler Bate.
Yeah. This looks like it's going to be the new crop of North American champion people.
Yep. So we got a Twitter video where we see Mello watching Braun's promo from earlier, and he says, I got to get out of here, so he leaves the barbershop. Then we got a Dragon Lee interview. So Mackenzie asks him about Noam Dar. Lee says, Noam Dar sees me as a threat. That's why he wanted J.D. McDonough to injure me. Noam only cares about two things, himself and that. And before he continued that thought, he's interrupted by the Supernova Sessions graphic popping up on the monitor behind him.
Yeah, man, I'm so hyped for this.
An envelope on that graphic opened up, and out pops a video of Noam Dar. And he goes, hello, Dragon Lee. It's me, Supernova 11, Noam Dar, the longest reigning NXT Heritage Cup champ. Now, Mr. Dragon, I come bearing gifts. You and I got off on the wrong foot. Please allow me to be the better man and offer you a prestigious opportunity. You're going to be the envy of the entire locker room after this. Dragon Lee, I choose you to be the first official guest on the relaunched Supernova Sessions talk show. Live from the moon. After this, your career will skyrocket. So, Mr. Dragon, I await your response.
Yeah, man. I'm hyped. It's back.
They just got to keep the same vibe, man.
They need to bring in Shaw Samuels. You got to have Shaw for this, man.
I know.
After that, Briggs and Jensen and Frank and Hank completely fucking annihilated each other.
Yeah,
this match was awesome. Like immediately when it started, Jensen comes running over to Tank Ledger. We call him Frank. I know we that's our thing. And they start beating each other. And then Briggs hits a big boot on Frank Ledger. He spits out a tooth, and then he puts it in his tights. And then Briggs and Jensen hit a heart attack to get the win here.
So there's a couple of things noteworthy about this match other than the physicality of it. One, commentary said that Tank and Hank bonded over their shared love of meatloaf.
Makes sense.
Something I can get behind. Meatloaf's
Believable. God, maybe I'll make some tonight. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while for me too. 2, Tank and Hank's theme is in no way fitting what their characters are. I described it to you as a score for a segment on the show Cosmos. It's got a very kind of ethereal sci-fi feel to it.
Yeah. It doesn't make a lick of sense for them. Like we were talking about this pre-stream. Andrew WK, perhaps.
Yeah.
Something more like something even off like the Animal House soundtrack. I think would fit them. I have no idea what songs were on the Animal House soundtrack, or if they had like a proper one. Let's find out. Animal House. I don't think I've ever seen that movie before.
Really?
Yeah. I know of it. I've never actually seen it before. Is it solid or what?
I remember it being pretty funny, but it's been probably 15, 20 years since 15 years since I've seen it last.
So apparently John Belushi did a cover of Louie Louie. Louie Louie would be a great theme song for these guys.
Perfect.
Louie. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Apparently Belushi also did a cover of Money, That's What I Want.
Oh.
For that.
Yeah, Louie Louie would be perfect.
Yeah, that would be good.
Then we got a Lyra Valkyria video package. She's talking about having to move to Orlando, and it's the city now. And she says, I'm evolving, adapting. I'm not the same person who crossed the Atlantic last year, but I'm still Valkyria. And 3 people have been marked on her way to the NXT Women's Championship. And Kiana James, you are the first.
Yep. Then we had hard-hitting home truths with Nathan Frazier. What'd you think about this one? Did you have any general thoughts about this one?
This one felt like the last one. It had the presentation of John Oliver, but I didn't feel like there was a whole lot of attempts at like jokes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it seemed like there was a couple more attempts at jokes in this one.
I feel like it's going to be a couple of these before he really figures out what the purpose of it is. Like it's kind of motivating. Like he's using it as a more direct way of spelling out his motivations. Whether or not it's going to ultimately mean a damn, or if it's going to mean anything, I don't know. Like it's so weird. But the
presentation is solid, and I think from a performance
it's well
standpoint,
produced. Yeah,
it's well produced, and I think he knows the idea he's trying to get across.
Yeah,
I think he knows the format, and I think he's captured the vibe, the energy of that format. Not to say that the actual content within is necessarily where it needs to be to fit the format he has in mind.
Yeah. So, like, what the ultimate goal is, I'm still kind of unsure, but it is something for him to do, and that's always good. So hopefully they can actually make something out of it. Like with Supernova Sessions, you understand completely like how they motivate feuds with that. It's kind of traditional talk show, but also like Noam Dar is just really good at stirring the pot, stirring the shit. This is going to be more interesting because it's not like there's guests there, and Nathan Frazier's a good guy. So I don't know, but it helps establish him as a character. So that helps, I guess.
I mean, he took kind of the long road to calling out Noam Dar.
Yeah.
And the Heritage Cup. But at the same time, Noam Dar is already in the thing with Dragon Lee.
Well, similar to the North American title scene, there are multiple possible, participants there. And I know the Heritage Cup rules, it's going to preclude us from doing a triple threat, of course.
Yeah.
But given that there seem to be multiple people angling for that goal, it's establishing a division kind of. That's and I'm cool with that. So he basically calls out, he talks about the 17 NXT talents getting drafted to Maine, and that means a bunch of spots have opened up, but who's going to fill those roles? Because NXT is like a melting pot of incredible talent from across the globe. But then he singles out Noam Dar. He says he's got his own talk show. He says the Supernova Sessions, which is interesting because I made my first WWE television appearance on Supernova Sessions. He says, but there may be a day when Noam Dar doesn't have the Heritage Cup anymore, and his world may come crashing down. So I don't know, kind of an interesting way of approaching it, like a video essay on like a potential opponent. I don't know, kind of weird, but I kind of like it.
Yeah. Then we got Kiana James versus Lyra Valkyria. They actually gave this match quite a bit of time, and it was really good. They're both really good wrestlers, and Lyra Valkyria could string together moves just like super fluidly.
Yeah, this might be, and I kind of wonder if like certain wrestlers will graduate to longer time length matches, because this might have been Kiana James, because this was a 10-minute match.
Yeah,
this might have been her longest match so far. I don't know if her and Fallon went longer than that.
Yeah, I don't remember
in their feud.
I remember their match was pretty solid too.
It was, yeah. They're both coming along really, really well. Lyra's a really good wrestler as well. She ends up getting the win here. She's able to flip out of a belly to back attempt and then hits a spinning heel kick to get the win here.
Yep.
Oh man, this was great. So Gallus, they're in the pub. Or were they? Do you think they were at? Was it Big Daddy's?
Yeah, probably.
Probably the same place, right?
Yeah, I would
and
think
so Joe's like, "Oh, hey boys, another toast to another successful title defense." And then Tony D and Stacks walks in. He say, "Hey, good job, guys. We won some money on your win." And says, "But you guys only have those tag titles because Joe came back, and we want to crack at these titles." And Joe pulls out a billy club. He says, like, "Boys, now that I'm here, Gallus handles things differently. Now you know I got here." And Tony's like, "Listen, believe, but you don't want to go down that road." And then like 4 other Gallus aficionados, which is like more of a firm, more of a crew than freaking the guys who were supposed to be the mob bosses.
I know. It's supposed to have a whole family. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no.
And so they stand up, and Joe with his billy club and Wolfgang and Mark are there. And so Stax is like, "Hey boss, we're outnumbered. We got to get out of here. We got to make Splitsville." And so they hightail it out of there. "All right, boys, back to drinking. Time to celebrate. Gallus boys on top. Gallus boys on top."
Oh my goodness.
Oh man. So anyways, so do you think them other 4 dudes were also Scottish?
Oh, probably not. They're just probably people from the Performance Center.
In kayfabe?
Oh,
maybe.
Sure. Yes.
No,
yes.
Maybe Gallus is there at the Performance Center, like, recruiting their own little band of dudes. Because they're like, "Hey, we got some mob bosses here. Gotta take care of them. Gallus boys on top."
Gallus boys on top. Then we had our main event. Trick Williams taking on Braun Breaker. Trick got off to a really fast start. Hit a few drop kicks. Eventually, though, Braun hits the backdrop on the announce table, allows him to turn the tables. He has the upper hand for a while till Trick blocks a lariat with a boot, follows with a neck breaker, an awesome Uranagi, and gets a 2 count. So then Trick's looking for a spin kick. Braun catches him with a press slam. Trick hits some kicks, looks for his spin kick again. Instead, Braun counters with a spear, puts on the Steiner recliner. Trick has to tap. After the bell rings, Braun puts on the recliner again. Mello runs the ring to make the save. He's looking for a springboard lariat, and then Braun just hits a hell of a spear. Massive spear.
Yeah, huge.
Massive spear.
Yeah. And Mello, who, we're not sure if he's 100% or not, but he was really selling that thing.
He was.
Yeah.
I wonder if the idea is that he's going to walk into Battleground not 100%.
Well, I think, it's like, and he keeps on jumping the gun on that and getting, taken out by Braun. So, make him the underdog there. You want to answer some questions? We have a couple of questions.
Answer some questions.
I got some questions here for the friendos. By the way, we get these question threads courtesy of our YouTube channel members and our patrons at patreon.com/Steven Larson. If you want to become a patron or a YouTube channel member, you can click join on YouTube, or you can go to patreon.com/Steven Larson. It's $5 and up. And you get access to our bonus episodes. We're not going to do one this week because we're still trying to catch up a little bit after, the events of the week, obviously. But we'll be back on overruns next week for sure.
Yes.
So you do get access to the bonus stuff. And then, of course, the May Predictions Challenge, which is now for the inaugural Big Blue digital title. So you can win if you're the best at predictions heading into the Weekend of Champions, which is Night of Champions, Double or Nothing, and NXT Battlegrounds. You can
singular
participate in the Big Blue Predictions Challenge.
Indeed.
I know, but now Here's the thing.
Now it's Battlegrounds.
Now it's Battlegrounds.
I mean, because really every match should be its own battleground. Am I right? Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. It's a collection of Battlegrounds. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Mayor Planet Houston question here says, with Von Wagner's mystery going on in NXT right now, what are some of your other favorite wrestling mysteries? Is who attacked Alistair because it gave us John.
It's how did Terry Funk wrestle a dead guy for 60 minutes?
Yes.
From Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. That was, I forget, did they claim that ended up being fact or fiction?
I think fiction.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, I think. And I was like, no, that's probably fact. Because it makes all the sense in the world. Because they do that with fact or fiction. It's like, well, that's ridiculous.
They take one little scintilla of truth,
right,
and then say the whole thing was true because there was like one detail in the whole thing that was true.
Like a wrestler wrestled a guy, and then shortly after the guy died. And then they take that and they're like, oh, this guy wrestled a guy who was dead for 60 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Deep Voice Dude here on the YouTube says, will we ever see a Mr. McMahon in the Attitude Era type character, the legitimate owner of a major company who is physically involved in major storylines, similar to Vince Russo and Eric Bischoff as well?
It's entirely possible.
Sure. I don't see why not.
It's entirely possible. I mean, Scott D'Amore is involved in storylines now. He just hit a Canadian Destroyer when he came back.
Well, okay, so you're absolutely right, and I don't think it'd be out of the realm of possibility. He calls it like the legitimate owner of a company, though. I mean,
well,
I could
D'Amore
see
is not the legitimate owner of Anthem Impact, but he runs Impact Wrestling.
Right? Yeah, no, I feel you, and I think you're right. My favorite, Caljack on his stories and on Instagram, there was like some sort of wrestling match between like a young, like, I don't know if he's like a teenager, but probably like 19, 20, and then like an old guy, and they're like in wrestling singlets. It looked like it was a competition of some sort.
Yeah.
And Caljack said, if this was pro wrestling, the old guy would win because he because he's the owner of the promotion. He's probably the promoter also.
Yeah.
Made me laugh because that
is funny. Let's remind everybody watching on YouTube, whether you're watching here live, VOD, if you could, especially before we call in Triple H, give us a like, smash that thumbs up button if you could, please. If you're new to us, new to listening or watching Going and Raw, if you like what you hear and see, please subscribe, hit that notify bell. I hear it's good. We're an upstart podcast. We're learning as we go, wins and learns.
We have no idea what we're doing. I don't even know how to work the Zoom call because sometimes this random celebrity impersonator shows up. Although I think this week is you have to
I know I can't say anything remotely horny. I understand.
There's the Dick Slavitt signal where if you say something horny, he appears.
Yeah. Lone Storm here asks McGriddle. Oh, so it says McGriddle plus hash brown equals breakfast of champions. Perhaps that's on the menu for Night of Champions.
You know what? I have to. Here's the thing. So you and we opened a couple things over the past couple days, and I'll do the other ones a little bit later because I have to find who they're from. But one of our awesome friendos, and for reasons we can't go into, sent us because we were being so effusive, we were being so positive about the McDonald's menu items. And I'm like, who would ever be negative about McDonald's? That shit's awesome. They sent us a grip of McDonald's gift cards.
Yeah, I know.
And we won't say their name because we don't want to get anybody in trouble. But we will say we do want to say thank you very much. And this was, I think they sent it before WrestleMania or something.
Yeah.
So we want to say thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Stephen M. here says, all the love from Ireland. Friendos just watched the replay of last night's stream. Inspiration of a great man. I ask you, if you were to spiritually inhabit an AEW title, which one would you want to be?
Oh, man. The TNT title is passed around way too much, and it kind of means nothing. I want some meaning in my life. The international title is kept in a backpack. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm kind of claustrophobic.
Same.
Oh, this is easy. The TBS title. Get to be with Jade Cargill all day long. I think that'd be kind of cool, be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What say you?
If not the TBS one, you're right about the TNT title and the international title.
Would you want to be the trios titles? You get to hang out with me all day.
Yeah, I know, but here's the thing. Like, I like the sunlight.
Yes, we're very spooky, and we only come out at night.
I know they're a little spooky. I don't mind spooky, but not exclusively spooky. They did redesign those titles because they have silver plates on them now. I noticed on Dynamite.
That's
cool. I think they have black straps and then silver or platinum, whatever plates on them now. I don't know. I don't know if I have a better answer.
I do have another answer. Given that I've seen, this is months ago, some of Hook's extracurricular activities.
Oh,
oh man, the FTW title could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good answer too, I suppose.
All right, continuing on. Deddy said, or D. Eddie says, would AEW benefit from a GM/commissioner setup, especially with a brand split? You know, Tony usually does ideas that WWE already did but dropped the ball on. So, yeah, maybe. Do a damn brand split. Do it properly.
Yeah. Blake here asked if you guys had a conversation about the channel schedule when Collision starts airing. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this is what we're gonna do. We're not gonna watch Rampage anymore, and we'll just watch Collision and SmackDown, and those will be the Monday shows we cover.
Ding 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 ding. We've got a winner. Yep. Look, man. Here's the thing. As soon as this was announced, I thought to myself, and I probably said it to you, I ain't adding more wrestling to my schedule. They can add all the wrestling they want. We're going to pick and choose what is interesting or what is important, quote unquote important. Yes. But I'm not here just to regurgitate. We regurgitate plenty, okay? The important ones are going to be Dynamite and it's going to be Collision. And that's what they get. Dynamite, Collision, Raw, and SmackDown. And then NXT. If that particular week we're like, hey, we need something to talk about, let's talk about NXT, which is usually how it shapes out on our Fridays.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the deal. Yeah.
Yep. Luis here says, if by divine intervention you're able to actually be a fly on the wall on 3 backstage incidents or plans, like the Montreal Screwjob booking, what would they be?
Oh, boy, what a great question.
All right, let's take Montreal Screwjob out of it, because that seems like an obvious one.
That's a really easy one, yeah. If you could be, what was it again? If you could be backstage.
If you could be a fly on the wall for 3 backstage incidents or plans.
Okay.
Would you want to be backstage for Brawl Out? For the actual Brawl?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'd be cool with that. I'd be cool with that. But no, I'll even take that one because that's kind of obvious as well. That's because that's a big one. No, I'll do this. WrestleMania 9.
All right.
Hogan and McMahon, and what Hogan told McMahon. I'd love to be privy to that, and then to follow as a fly when Bret Hart was told about those plans.
Yeah, that's good. The planning of the match where Luthez defeated Buddy Rogers for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in 1963. Why they chose Luthez to beat Buddy's opponent.
Dude, the ultimate one. Whatever match it was, in probably the mid-20s, I think, like 25 or so, I think it was, when the Stardust Trio was like, let's do a match finish. And they're like, what's a match finish? You know how we usually just have these guys like just go for like endless amount of time? 25-minute match. Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
And here's the thing. I'm going to write down what they do, and then they do it. We can do that? Sure. It's fake. Exactly. We can do whatever we want. We don't have to be real about this shit. Yeah, I want to be the fly on the wall when they cracked fake wrestling. That's what I want to do, man.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Alex Fost here asks, what other New Japan references should Damon Kemp add to his promos and feuds?
Dude, nothing's going to beat throw my trash away, young boy. Nothing's going to beat that.
I know.
Boy, yeah, that is a really good one.
Is he going to refer to going into the ring with him for a match as his house of torture?
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good. Man, I don't know. That he brought Eddie. I still think that Damon Kemp got the better of this feud, even though Eddie Thorpe beat him.
I know.
He said, "Throw my trash away." Oh man.
Oh my goodness. So Zach Sparks here says, since Theory learned to be serious, Braun was learning to be champ, Vaughn was learning to be a character, and Boogs is learning to navigate backstage, what other wrestlers should have a learning character or gimmick?
Oh man. Frank and Hank learning to choose better theme music. They try out new theme music every week, and then eventually they settle on Louie.
Oh no. We gotta
go.
That's good. Maybe Frank Ledger, can learn how to find a good dentist to put his tooth back in his mouth.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Or he looks up YouTube videos on how to put a tooth back in your mouth.
Yeah, maybe that's what
and Hank's like, I don't think that's going to work. And then the next week, they're
he's
like,
no, you get some rubber cement and just put it either side of the tooth and put it back where it goes.
Oh,
it stays there.
He's like, why do you look pale this week? He's like, I don't feel too good.
Let me put extra rubber cement on there. It's getting loose again.
Let me be frank. I don't feel very good. Oh man. Any more questions there?
I'm sorry, Hank. You're probably gonna have to do your own taxes this year.
Right. Any more questions on the Patreon?
Yeah, there's a couple
I'm empty
more.
on YouTube.
There's a couple more. Patrick Kennedy says, if you guys could be a superhero for a day, or any superhero for a day, who would you choose?
Well, Batman's like not even close to being in the equation. That guy looks like he's like an old beat up pro wrestler. He's just hurt all the time.
Yeah, no.
Oh man, I probably Green Lantern because he can like go like up into space and go to different planets and shit. He can make whatever he wants with his power ring.
A giant or a green fist come out of your ring. That's what it is.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I'd do that shit. You could do a lot with that as long as nobody has like something yellow that counters that, because that's what his thing was. What about you? Well, I guess like maybe the Invisible Man. Go steal some shit.
That's a good question. Wow. There's like too many options to choose from.
Yeah. Well, you got, of course, Spider-Man. You got the Superman.
Yeah, Superman's kind of boring.
You got the Martian Manhunter, who's just sort of like a Martian, but he's got like, he's like Superman kind of.
Yeah.
The
I'll
Flash,
say my
really
answer
fast.
to any superhero related question is usually Vision.
You'd be a robot. I mean, that's kind of you anyways. Yeah.
Exactly.
See, maybe the Flash, because you could go back in time. You run really fast and you can go back in time.
For what?
Oh, I'd take an almanac, a gray sports almanac.
Oh, of course, for your own financial. You can go back and start Lugal.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, nothing that big. I would just, like invest in a lot of like stocks that just like take off huge.
Yeah.
So I'd be just like a really good like investor. Yeah. I'd bring you along with me. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to leave you dry.
Thanks.
Yeah, no sweat.
Yeah.
I don't like the sarcasm in your voice, in your tone right there. I'm making you a billionaire, by the way. Anyways.
Take all my financial advice from Steve here at his Gray Sports Almanac.
Look, I'll bring the almanac. I'll bring 2 copies, and I'll bury one in your backyard. And then when I come back to the present, I'll be like, hey, there's a present for you. And, you dig it up, and you'll be like, hey, it's Gray Sports Almanac.
Yeah.
Like, okay, have at it. And
thank you.
You're welcome, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, man.
Let's see here.
Your old dad says, wish I can go back in time. Put some money on the Cubbies.
There you go. Jack Napier here says, do you think Braun Breaker has the best spear? His is so brutal. Yeah, Braun's got a good spear.
He's got a good spear. I don't know about the best, but he's got a really good one.
You know, a lot of it though is how the person taking it sells it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like if they really like when Dolph did it, all the times he got speared by Goldberg, it looked like he was trying to put himself through the ring selling it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
so
yeah,
it's not just the person giving it.
Thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to bring Triple H in. Although next week it might be a different guest because I think that was the arrangement. It was like I'm going to start doing other guests are going to start coming in here. Before we do that, Emerald City Pictures here. Friendo Club member, 7 months now, says, who's your guys' most underrated ex-WWE guy you'd like to see brought back? He mentions Tyler Breeze.
That's good.
I'm going to say Dirty Dango.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him come back, but like be Johnny Curtis. Try to be yourself. Do what he wants, because he said he wants to be more serious.
I know. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
Oh, Cardona's a good one too. Your old dad.
Yeah, Cardona is a good answer.
I'd love to see what he's doing now in WWE. I think that'd be good.
Oh my gosh, that'd be incredible.
Say his name.
I mean, I got to be careful what I say now.
Yeah, you have to be really careful. All right, here we go. I'm gonna zoom Triple H in. Hello, hi. This is the Game of Games.
Hi, Triple H.
Here, don't interrupt. Don't interrupt.
Pause there.
It's time for what'd you say?
Didn't say anything. Sorry.
All right.
That's
all
not
right.
I apologize.
Oh, you got something in your throat? You gotta be careful with your words. Consider that a warning. Here we go. SmackDown preview. Do you like SmackDown?
Yeah, I enjoyed that program. Yes.
All right. Oh, you do like that program. I wonder what other programs do you like?
That's a stretch there, Triple H. Nice try.
Yeah. First up, Roman Reigns returns with a purpose. What do you think his purpose is going to be?
If the rumors would be believed to win the tag titles.
That's right. He's going to win the tag titles. He's going to do some tag team action. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Anyways, Edge, Rey Mysterio, and AJ Styles collide in a chance for another taste at World Championship Gold. What do you like to taste? Come on, what do you like to taste?
Banana bread.
Do you like to? Hey, let me ask you something. Don't interrupt me. Do you like to taste pie? Do you like to taste pie?
Some key lime's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pumpkin is good.
Yes. What else?
That's it. I'm good with
what
those
about
two.
peach pie? You like peach pie?
Can't say I've ever had it.
Let's see here. Who do you got? Edge, Rey Mysterio, AJ Styles?
Edge.
Edge. All right. Let's see here. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defend their women's tag team titles against Damage Control. Two women in hot action against two women. What do you think about that match?
Probably a pretty good chance that Liv and Raquel retain here, yeah?
Probably think so. I think they're going to win this match. And then Sheamus, Bobby Lashley, and Austin Theory are going to battle it out in a World Heavyweight title tournament, just like the other one. So, good threesome here. We got Sheamus, Bobby Lashley, and Austin Theory. What do you think about all this meat here?
Triple threat bout. If Edge wins the other one, sure, Austin Theory.
Austin Theory versus Edge at the end of the night. Which man's going to come out on top?
Edge. Let's go with Edge.
Let's go with Edge. He's gonna come out on top.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure he's gonna win.
Oh yeah, he's gonna come out on top though. Who's gonna come out on top?
Well, I mean that's the same thing as saying someone's gonna win, so I'll say someone's gonna win.
All right, sounds good.
We done? We finished?
I think. Oh man! Somebody talked about finishing off. Somebody want to talk about finishing off. All right, I finished off in the bathroom the other day. You were so close. You're so close to being done. You're so close to it. You're almost there, but then you said finish. I love to finish off all the time in the bathroom.
Done. Done.
All right, we're done. We're done. You lose this week. You lose, sir. You see, you had to say finish. You couldn't. You had to say finish. You were so close.
I got comfortable for a second.
So close.
Get comfortable for one small moment.
Oh, it's a nightmare. It's a tightrope, isn't it?
It really is. It really is.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Anyways, that's fine. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Tomorrow, we're going to... Tomorrow, we've got an Ask Steven Larson and Ask Going in Raw episode up here on the channel. For YouTube channel members, click join. For patrons, $5 and up. We will have questions threads up in moments for that episode. So be sure to get your questions in. Everybody gets one question to ask, but the more people we get to ask questions, the better the show.
Indeed.
So, thanks for that. That'll go up tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everybody. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
I believe in Joe Hendry. What's up, everybody?
Hi, everybody.
Hopefully,